Hi, boys and girls. This is Unit 15, Week 1, Day 5 story time. And today we will be reading our unit story, The Rescue Team. And then we will be making a movie. I'm using Storyboard That to make my own version of the movie. And I'm going to share it with you. So before we begin, let's look at the structure of our story, The Rescue Team. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs. I do see that there is a little bit of a typo right here because we know that paragraphs begin with indentations. And this one over here, they forgot to indent. But that's okay. We are going to begin over here, and I want you to follow along as I read. The Rescue Team. Mr. Straub works on a rescue team on the coast. He has been working there for years. He enjoys the work and likes the other members of the group. They all know how important their work is. Back when he was a kid in school, Mr. Straub had worked at his town pool. One day he had to save a child from drowning. From that point on, he was hooked on rescue work. That's paragraph 1. I hope you have a picture in your mind. Paragraph 2. The crew does not go out on a rescue each day. Some days the job is even a bit dull. The crew is happy when this happens because it means that all of the boaters are safe. However, if a storm blows in, the crew knows they will be needed soon. It is their job to rescue boats that are stranded out in sea and get everyone back safely to shore. They also teach classes on boat safety. Paragraph 3. Many people on the coast have boats and enjoy fishing trips or just sailing on the clear, smooth blue waters. Most of the boaters are very careful and they remember to provide a life jacket for each person on their boat, and they go slowly when there are other boats around. A few boaters are foolish. They scoot across the water at top speed and dart around the other boats. They crowd too many people on their boats and ignore the rules. They stay out in stormy seas and pile too much stuff on the boat. Paragraph 4. One cloudy afternoon, Mr. Straub told a group that they should not take their small boat out to sea. The news was reporting that a large storm was expected soon. The driver of the boat began to argue with Mr. Straub. Mr. Straub was trying to explain that the small winds would make it hard to get back in when the boat took off and sped out to sea. Mr. Straub just shook his head. He wished people knew that he was not trying to spoil their fun. He just wanted to keep them safe. Last paragraph. Shortly after the boat left the dock, thunderclouds formed in the sky and the waves began to pound the shore. Mr. Straub frowned and looked out the window. He was hoping to see the small boat returning, but there were no boats around. He told his crew that they should prepare for a rescue. Now, boys and girls, that we've finished reading through the rescue team, I hope that you have a vision in your head about Mr. Straub, the other characters in the story, the setting, and the main event. I'm going to share with you my visualization of the story. Now, remember, my visualization, what I'm picturing in my mind, could be very different from what you're picturing in your mind because it didn't give a clear description of Mr. Straub and the other characters and what they look like and what clothes they were wearing. We don't exactly know that. We don't know the color of the boats. We don't know all of these details. But in making a movie in my mind, I had some ideas. So I'm going to share with you. Using these images, we can easily retell the story. So here I have my visualization of Mr. Straub. And he works on a rescue team on the coast. Here's the coast. And he's been working there for years. And then my next picture shows that back when he was a kid in school, Mr. Straub, he worked at his town pool. And one day he saved a kid from drowning. And from that point, he knew that he wanted to do rescue work. So it said that the crew did not go out every single day, and some days their job was, pretty calm. And it just meant that the boaters were out, they were being safe, and it meant that they were following the directions, right? So then I have here, it talked about in the story that it's their job to rescue boats that are stranded out in the sea and get everyone back to shore safely. Now, even though sometimes the boaters were outside, it also talked about the rescue team was outside. Sometimes they also were inside and they were teaching about boat safety. So here I have a classroom and it says boat safety because that's what they were teaching. And many people on the coast, they had boats and they would just enjoy fishing trips or sailing out in the water. And usually the boaters were quite careful. It said that in the story that they would just be out and they would follow the rules and they would always wear their life jackets like they were supposed to. But sometimes you would have those boaters that would speed across the water and they would dart around the other boats. And sometimes they'd have too many people and too many things on their ship. So they weren't following the directions. So here's that one scene. Mr. Straub, he was telling a group of people that it wasn't a good idea to take their boat out to sea. And he said that there was news that there was going to be a storm. And the other crew of people, they were arguing with him and they said, "No, we want to go out to sea." And he wished that people would just follow the direction because he knew that thunderstorms were coming and he could see that the clouds were forming in the sky and the waves were pounding the shore. And he was just looking out the window and he was hoping that he would see that small boat returning, but there were no boats coming in. So he told his crew to prepare for rescue. So that was my version of the story using storyboard that. And we know that when we're reading a story, it is so important, boys and girls, to visualize the story as it's taking place because that really will help you with your comprehension skills and understanding everything that's going on in the story. So I hope that you enjoyed the rescue team and I hope that you enjoyed my version of making a movie. And thank you so much for following along with me. Make sure you read the story on your own and practice your reading fluency. Have a great day.